This program contains true stories of rescues. All of the 911 calls you will hear are real. Whenever possible, the actual people involved have helped us reconstruct the events as they happened.
For many professional rescuers, unforeseen risks pose a daily threat to personal safety. I'm William Shatner. Tonight, true stories of people who care enough to try and make a difference on Rescue 911. We begin around 9:30 on the morning of July 20th, 1989, in South Bend, Indiana. Mary Farrell was alone in her office on the second floor of the Faith United Methodist Church, where she has worked for the past 15 years.
That'd be fine. I was talking on the telephone, telling a lady about a function that our community outreach has. Okay, get here where I get a good seat. I heard a noise. I think I heard someone call my name.
Mary.
I turned around, and there was Bob Carl.
I'll be right back. What? Got terrible chest pains.
Come on in. Sit down right here. I could see that Bob was in great pain, and I knew immediately that he was having a heart attack. I know his son, Dale, and knowing that Dale is a paramedic, I knew that's who Bob would want.
On the other side of town, paramedic Dale Carl got Mary's call for help.
I hung up the phone. I looked at Randy and said, "We got to go now." He said, "What do we got? What do we got?" I said, "My dad, he's having chest pain." He said, "Oh, my God." And we took off. By this time, it's probably 20, 25 minutes of 10 on a Thursday morning in South Bend, Indiana. Traffic shouldn't be too bad, but traffic was terrible. And I couldn't get people to respond to the siren, and I'm sure my emotions were taking me away.
Within 8 minutes, Dale and his partner, EMT Randy Garnett, arrived on the scene.
Responding to a call where you know that it's someone you care for is the worst possible case scenario. I was a little worried that maybe he wouldn't be able to handle the call if it was bad.
Hurry, guys!
I never thought I would make a call like that on my dad.
What we got, Dad? Terrible chest pains.
At the same token, I wouldn't have anybody else do it. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, tell me what it is. 10. A 10. Dad, we're going to get you on some O2 here. I want to listen to you breathe. The instant I saw him and what I suspected was happening, the idea crossed my mind that we may not get to the ambulance with him alive.
Memorial, this is 60. I need to talk to a doc.
I called the hospital to see what kind of further orders they wanted me to do.
Severity's probably a 10 is what he's telling me. Super diaphoretic here.
170 over 130.
We gave his father nitroglycerin, which is meant to stop the chest pain. It had absolutely no effect whatsoever.
I had a vision that we might be doing CPR before this run was through. And the problem with that is my dad told me if his heart stops, don't do any more.
Ready? 3, upstairs.
I respect his wishes, but I also had visions of CPR going on because you just don't want to lose your best friend.
I was attempting to reach each intersection as the light was turning green to avoid any starting and stopping. I was afraid that if the ride were too rough, that it would actually cause him to arrest.
going to take another pressure and see how that other pill's doing for me, okay? Just relax, just relax. The second set of vitals showed that his blood pressure went up, contrary to what should happen with nitro. No relief at all. Still running a 10. Well, more or less 60. Established contact with the hospital and requested morphine. And they said, sure, go ahead, give him 5. All right, Dad, I'm going to get you something a little stronger. You just hang with me now, okay? Hang with me.
Just ahead, St. Joseph's County Police Captain Joe Spybrook was on his way back to the station.
I was eastbound in my unmarked unit following a vehicle. We were approaching St. Joe Street. I heard a siren on St. Joe Street approaching the intersection. I thought to myself, he's going to hit that ambulance right in the side. Look out!
When we continue.
I could hear Dale in the back screaming his father's name. He wasn't getting any response. I was honestly afraid that he had died.
When last heard from, paramedic Dale Carl had been in an ambulance on the way to the hospital, treating his 64-year-old father for an apparent heart attack. Dale's wife, Marie, waited at the hospital, unaware that his ambulance had been involved in a serious accident.
Hi, Alice.
Has the ambulance come up yet?
No, they haven't arrived yet.
When I got into the emergency room, they had me start a chart out for Dad.
Do you know his date of birth? Was that Median?
There was a radio in the emergency room where I was standing, and I could tell that there was a very bad accident. And at that time, the firemen started running and said that it was very bad and that there was an ambulance involved and that it had rolled over.
Thank you.
Was that Dale?
It was Dale's ambulance. They're sending another ambulance out, Marie.
Okay.
Okay.
I got it.
It shook me up. I thought for sure that they were dead. All I could do was put my head down on the counter before I passed out.
Randy, you all right?
I wasn't doing too bad, but my leg had become wedged under the seat.
Station 43. We're involved in a 1050 rollover.
I could hear Dale in the back screaming his father's name. He wasn't getting any response.
You all right?
I was honestly afraid that he had arrested, that he had died.
Okay.
It took me a couple of seconds to realize what had happened. I had a tremendous amount of pain in my right shoulder.
You okay? Yeah, just mark. No big deal.
Dad was laying on his side, being suspended in air by the straps from the gurney. His IV had come out. He just bleeding all over creation from that. I had to dig around in the rubble to find Dad's IV, and I grabbed some alcohol and cleaned it and plugged it back in.
All right, hang with me. We'll get you out of here. Hang with me.
Asked him again, how you doing? How's the chest pain? He was so short of breath he couldn't talk to me. His condition was getting worse.
Within 4 minutes, South Bend Fire Department paramedic Tom Kowalski and his partner pulled up to the scene of the crash.
My concerns were many at this point. I knew we had an unstable cardiac patient who may have been further compromised by the addition of traumatic injuries.
On scene, we had a lot of chest pain, mid-sternum running up to his neck, down his arm.
And that Dale, in being so focused on his father's care, may have been ignoring his own potential injuries.
Nice and easy, guys. You in here, Tom? Okay, here we go.
They looked at me and said, Dale, why don't you go in with one of the other rigs? We'll take care of your dad. And I said, no. I started care. I'm finishing care.
How we doing, Mr.
I said, this is my dad. I'm going in with him as long as I'm physically able.
Robert Carl's vital signs were dangerously high when he was admitted to South Bend Memorial Hospital and examined by Dr. Joseph Lee.
He looked awful. He looked very diaphoretic, very uncomfortable. He was in critical condition at that point. We knew we had to act fairly quickly to get him stabilized.
Squeeze my fingers here.
I was relieved. I felt as though a tremendous burden had been taken from me, and now I was in someone else's hands.
Tests revealed that Robert Carl's heart attack was caused by blockage in 4 major arteries. The following afternoon, he underwent quadruple bypass surgery.
I remember sitting in his room with him as they were prepping him for surgery. I remember telling him that I wasn't ready to be the man of the family yet. That he'd better make it. He assured me he would.
Two years after his successful bypass, he is doing fine.
It took a while to recover from the surgery, but since then, I've been doing well, I think. I have a little shortness of breath problem, but hey, I can live with that. What the world you got?
Happy birthday to you.
I guess I look at life a little differently today. I feel like I'm living on borrowed time now. God has granted me a longer period of time, and I feel that He has something that He wants me to do yet. Well, since it's only 2, I think I can handle that. If it was all of them, I doubt if I could. Well, thank you.
Dale and Dad and Randy were almost killed because someone was in a hurry.
I still think I was the windiest because I blew it the farthest.
I think the most important thing that people need to remember is that when you hear a siren or you see the lights, to pull over. The one thing that gets me to pull over is it may be my family member in there, and I want them to get to the hospital as quickly as possible.
I thank God that we can joke about it now and we say that we're just 2 old country boys that took a whooping.